Hey everybody, Dan here with your daily trade recap and market overview, or the other way around, whichever. We had a good day today. I actually kind of maybe overtraded a little bit, but I had 9 wins, 1 loss. Lee had 7 wins, no losses. You can see out of 661 trades, we're an 88.4% win rate. Today we ran at 94.1, and over the last 7 days we're at 94.3. So very proud of these stats. You can see the individual trade. Again, if you don't have this dashboard, let me know. Get it to you. Anybody can have this. And it's got a good search function if you want to see how we did on any given day, maybe compare it to your own results. But you can see here, every trade is logged. I started off the morning with a big loss and then fought my way back and ended up making my daily goal. So it was kind of an interesting day. Um, let's look at the trades real quick. So first trade for me was 9:04 this morning. Again, the group traded for an hour and a half or so before I got there. And this is what that loss looked like. It was actually a legitimate trade. Entered it at 9:05. Probably could have, should have gotten in at 9:04. Then I would have caught this little spike down. Instead, I got in at 9:05, and that was very close to the bounce back. One candle after we got in, it bounced up pretty bad. Some members stayed in and closed it down here and made money. But this was my $17 a contract loss. It's the only loss I took today. And then kind of tried to brush that off. And at 9:14, went in again. Just to recap the system, we get the bull signal. Everything starts there. Then we have to cross the dot, which is right there. And then the trade has to validate, which would be breaking out and having a drop in the chop index. Those things happened at 9:14. And by 9:18, I was out with a decent little gain. Then this run was still looking pretty brisk. So at 9:26, went in again. You can see the chop dropped. So that's what got me to go back in. And we crossed the 200. I didn't want to mess with the 200-day moving average. That can sometimes really reject price. So we worked our way above it, rode it back up to the stall out here, and another decent win. Next trade came in at 9:42, and we had the bull signal here, which where everything has to start. And then we have to clear the wicks here because there's no dot. And so this trade validated here, but the chop index went up. You can see down here. It still stayed above the target. The chop still went up. And then on the last, when on the entry, it validated, and I went in here, and we rode this up near the top. So decent trade. Then we entered at 10:20 a.m. and just real textbook here, guys. So bull signal, clear the dot, look for validation, which we got, up and through here. But also price had stalled out a little bit here. So I wanted to see it break here. It did. And look what happened to the chop index. Perfect, perfect, perfect. In and out, 2 bars. Then we got in at 10:42. Bull signal, cleared the dot, validated. The chop had already dropped. This is maybe a little questionable. Kind of rode it down to the 50 and then rode it back up again, ended up with a small gain. This was not maybe the best trade, but it still made money. Then on the short side, market really started falling. I wanted to be real cautious. We got below the 50. The signal validated below this dot right here. So this is where you could have entered. I don't know why I didn't. I really don't. I still kind of beat myself up over that one. Waited. I was waiting for the 200-day moving average, but I could have gotten in here and got out at the 200. Instead, I waited for a break below the 200, which we got here, and we had a really nice drop in the chop index, and then got out like next candle. Good gain. This was a real quick one. Bull signal, got to clear the dot. Dots are right here, validated here. Chop had dropped. I could have gone in here, waited to make sure it was clear of the 50, jumped in here, and jumped out on the same candle. So that was a good quick trade. And I think that might have been it. Yeah, that was the last trade of the day. So not too bad. Now let's look at the market overall. I'm having some problems with the site that I use to look at options flow. So I'm going to look at it from a slightly different perspective because it's not populating for me. That's Apple. There we go. So we can look at dark pools here. And we can look at the Greeks here. And you can see there was definitely a magnetic pull up to this dark level here, 437.20 to 40. And then you can see there's a whole bunch of dealer hedging here. So, I suspected we'd have a hard time breaking out, which we did. Kind of closed in the middle of this noise here. Hopefully tomorrow it breaks above. Seems like it will. The market breadth is getting way better. You can see here the big money, at least on Monday, they were buying like crazy. And you can see the big money index about June 1st just started going straight up. And that's when the market launched as well. So this has been a real good run. And it was telegraphed here by the big money index. And it was telegraphed over here when you could see how much they were buying. And then we've got the time cycle forecast, which is looking pretty good also. You can see the Dow is still pointing up. The long term's kind of pointing up. This says there's a little bit more room to run on the Dow, but we are getting overbought. The NASDAQ is literally sitting in the upper reversal zone. It's been there for weeks. And so this tells you you're going to have chop with an upward bias, and that's what we've been seeing. Pretty strong upward bias. And then last but not least, we've got the SPY. And this too is pointing up along with the long term. So it looks to me like, the market's got some more room to run. We're getting pretty close to a top here on the SPY, at least a small pullback. Got a little more room to run here. We'll see what happens. So I think that's all I've got. If you have any questions, reach out, Dan at universityofoptions.com. If you want to watch us trade, go to dolikedan.com/freepass, and we'll get you a pass to watch us trade. So I think tomorrow probably will be a pretty good day, at least based on what I'm seeing. We'll have a better idea, of course, in the morning. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.